ABC Alaska News at 10. All Alaska. All. You're watching ABC News at 5.
In just over a week, state lawmakers will convene in the Capitol for the second half of the legislative session. Good evening, I'm Dorene Lorenz.
And I'm Maria Athens. Your Alaska Link's Gretchen Parsons sat down with an Anchorage lawmaker to get to the brass tacks of what to expect out of Juneau this session.
We need to get serious about this now. And it's that coming together that's going to be difficult. Because a number of us think that while we give the governor great credit for what he's done, that some of the proposals are too regressive.
Proposals such as income taxes and significantly cutting the permanent fund are two possible solutions for Alaska's billion-dollar budget deficit that have sparked concern among Representative Andy Josephson's Anchorage constituents. Figuring out how to cope with the state's fiscal shortfall will be the main focus of this legislative session, but Josephson says working together will have its challenges too.
I think collectively, the 60 of us need to come together and really come to terms with the fact that this deficit can't be, we can't merely cut our way out of the deficit, and that we frankly won't be doing our jobs. There'd be almost a sense of negligence if we don't at least cut this deficit in half.
The other half being made up from savings. Josephson says the AK LNG project will also be a major focus of session, and while the project has been touted as the saving grace of the state, Alaska won't see construction jobs from the project for another 5 years and won't see revenue for another 10.
That, by the way, suggests that it's not a panacea for our current fiscal situation. It is something down the road that would go a long way to helping that, a very long way, hopefully. But it is too far to reach for right now.
Session begins January 19th, but many lawmakers will be heading down before for pre-session meetings.
Josephson added that he has 10 additional bills he is planning on introducing and advancing. Some have to do with education, others workman's comp and wildlife.
Well, while some legislative staff have been in Juneau for weeks preparing for this session, several legislators are still lingering in their homes and banking quality time with their constituents.
Becca Bernard is an Anchorage mother of a 4th grader and a kindergartner who has some concerns when it comes to public education here in Alaska.
One of the concerns that I have is class sizes, and I know that class sizes have been climbing kind of steadily, and it varies by school, of course. But as the districts are forced to cut teaching positions due to not enough funding, that means fewer teachers per student, and so you end up with larger class sizes.
Bernard was one of several people who took time out of their Saturday to speak to the Anchorage Legislative Caucus before they head to Juneau for the start of the legislative session on January 19th. Representative Liz Vasquez says many people, like Bernard, testified about public education.
People are concerned about the reduction in school funding, so we'll have to look at that and see. I'm really a fan of putting more money into the classroom, not into administration, but into the classroom.
Another major issue brought up by constituents was updating the Port of Anchorage.
With the port modernization, it's that they want the state to look at making a bond, putting a bond on the ballot so that we can have the voters vote to support modernizing the port, because the port, I think, needs some improvements, and that's been an issue for a long time.
But legislators say it's important to hear from the people they speak for while in the Capitol.
The nice part about Alaska is, population-wise, we're one of the least populated states in the country, so we need to be very available to the people we represent, and it's great to be able to have an opportunity like this to have them come and meet with us.
As for Bernard, she says the public hearing is a chance to
give our elected representatives some guidance on what we want them to do.
Well, state lawmakers are letting loose a sigh of relief after the Alaska Supreme Court released a decision that lifts a black cloud that was over the